You wouldn't believe the people in Asheville and other places who say, "My internet is really bad." Well, our internet is exceptional.
And it really makes remote work in Spring Creek a viable possibility.
It means now that you can potentially have a job, full-time or part-time, and be in a rented office at the community center or be at home.
To have a space that's local where I just leave my equipment there and we just show up and we film. Those big offices, there's so much sunlight and it's beautiful white walls. It's so nice.
When people actually come and see it November 1st, it's going to be just phenomenal. I look so forward to talking to people about the little idiosyncrasies of this space that is going to be so valuable. It'll preserve some of the history of the school, but it's also, moving forward with adult workforce education.
So you may have driven past the old Spring Creek Community Center building on 209 here in Western North Carolina, but you may not know what's happening inside the building. So it's about to change what's possible for every small business in these mountains. If you haven't already, be sure to follow and subscribe to WNC HeartBEAT so that you don't miss the stories of the people who are quietly building big things right here in Western North Carolina.
Hey everyone, welcome back to WNC HeartBEAT. I'm Anna and I'm here with my co-host Allie. And today we're talking about something that's been years in the making. The new business center at the Spring Creek Community Center is finally opening its doors. And this is one of those projects that start as a what if, right, Alice? And somehow it became or is becoming, we did it. A big reason for that is our guest today, Alice McVey. Welcome, Alice.
Thank you, ladies.
Alice has been the driving force behind almost every grant application and development step we've taken to get here, from navigating funding to making sure every corner of this building serves the community. Alice has truly been the engine behind the vision. So today we're sitting down with her to talk about how this all came together, what's next, and how you can be a part of it, whether that's renting an office, using the co-working space, or just coming by on November 1st for our grand opening. So let's get into it.
Yeah. And Alice, by the way, you can never retire or leave or do anything. The whole community is relying on you to keep doing what you're doing.
Yeah, but younger, fresher faces. Let's do it.
Listen, if you're willing to train at least 5 replacements, then I think we can.
Yes, at a minimum 5, at a minimum.
By the way, it's hard to tell right now, but Anna and I are actually in the same room filming for the first time.
Yes, so I'm actually trying not to look at you.
Yeah, I know. She's right beside me. This is Hatch, and this is a shared workplace in Asheville, which is kind of similar to what we're building out in the community center, right? Where you can get a membership and come work here. And I have to say, I am really, I've only seen the hallway in one room and it's really nice.
Yes, we're broadcasting from Hatch today, Hatch Co-working at 45 South Broad Avenue. I think that's right. Anyways, but one thing we want to talk about first is what first made the board and you believe that Spring Creek needed a business center?
Back in 2020, the board was sitting around saying, what should we do with this empty space? It's almost 4,000 square feet. And we said, we really should do a survey. And so we did a survey and got a pretty good response. And people had a lot of ideas, but probably education and workforce support was resounding in regards to where we needed to go. And in 2023, we decided to do another survey just to make sure that COVID and things like that had not changed people's mindsets. And it really pretty much reflected the 2021 that let's do this. Let's build a business center for Spring Creek and people in the area.
Yeah. So was that sort of the moment where it went from, hey, this is a good idea, to we're actually doing it?
Yes. And then the work began. Really in 2021, we started working with the county, Norris Gentry, the county commissioners, Ross Young, a variety of people who were very supportive. Since the county owns the building, then they definitely need to be a partner in this effort.
I remember you saying something about Ross Young, Alice. He was really instrumental, right, in helping us move this forward.
He was, for years he was Ag Extension, the director, and worked there for 30 plus years. And he retired and went to work for the county. And he had been really instrumental in bringing the community centers in Madison County together, having them think alike and share thoughts and ideas. And so I actually went to him and said, Ross, help me with this phase 3 idea. And he just started throwing out a bunch of ideas. And, the workforce development one stuck, and us potentially having a kitchen space, all the things that you really need in order to have a community center that can make everyone happy.
So was that the original vision? Like when you guys were first coming up with this concept, did you guys already have these ideas about the kitchen and everything like that?
We knew we needed a kitchen. We have Dave's restaurant here, and a few other renters as well, but that's his space. And so when we do potlucks and invite people for events and renting the gym for a wedding or a birthday party, it's nice to have a kitchen. And we didn't have one. So we were dragging home pots and pans and washing them. And so this will be nice to actually be able to have a kitchen that's reasonably well equipped and can also service the community for their needs.
For people who might not know, tell us about the beginnings or the grant process, because without our grant partners, none of this would have happened.
So it started with Golden Leaf Foundation, and they were offering a Western North Carolina opportunity for not-for-profits or agencies to apply for funds. And the county gave us permission to apply for this grant, and we worked really hand in hand with Golden Leaf, and that was the first grant. And they say that getting the first grant for a big project means then the ball can really get rolling. And that's exactly what happened, because other granting agencies said, oh, well, the Spring Creek Community Center got money from Golden Leaf, so we are going to take them serious also. And so from there, it was Dogwood Health Trust, the Cannon Foundation. Even groups like Land of Sky gave us money. The county supported us again financially. It took a lot of different grants to piece together enough money to do this, complete renovation.
Right, because the county gave us a whole new roof too, which was an amazing investment.
Yes, they did.
Walk us through the process. And it sounds like, once one grant, you get one grant, like the rest flow a little easier. But tell us about sort of the process of getting that first one done. Where do you even start? Obviously, permission. You have to get permission from the county.
Yes, we get permission. We went and presented in front of the county commissioners our vision, Anna Yont and I, and they gave us permission. In fact, they told us to ask for more money from Golden Leaf, and so that was good that they were committed to us. So that was a wonderful thing to have that happen from them. And that process, it took about a year and a half before we had everything completed. I mean, you need things you don't even think about. What's the traffic flow in front of the building? Well, you go to the Department of Transportation and you can get those numbers. Golden Leaf they set high standards when they give out funds. And so they expect you to have all the information in order, to be confident with your goals, and to be very targeted. And we were. And without AB Tech, we probably wouldn't have gotten the grant either, because they agreed to partner with us on education for Spring Creek. We can't do everything, you need to have strong partners that can help you to be more successful. So AB Tech as well as the county were really the two pieces that we needed. Ag Extension and other groups were willing to also help us in regards to future education that's needed for our community.
So can you walk us through what's going to be inside the new business center, the offices, the co-working, the new features? Yes, this is very exciting. Tell us about all the shiny new things, please.
We started out saying, well, maybe we'll just have 1 or 2 offices. But then as we started talking to the community, more and more people kept saying, but I'd like a small space. I'd love to be able to work in Spring Creek, but not have to take a bedroom or a spare room when your own space is at a premium. And so we ended up with 3 pretty decent sized offices that we call our large offices. And then we have 2 mediums. And then we have 2 that we kind of refer to as phone booths, very small, just quick touchdown spaces that you can use for telemedicine or something along those lines. Then we moved on to the classroom. So it's a classroom / boardroom. So multifunction space that will be able to stream education. You'll be able to have education there. We'll have research, we'll have people come and actually teach there, but there's also the option that they could be teaching remotely and we could have a classroom of students in the classroom. So goals like that. And then the business center as well. So people can come. We have a really nice printer that Land of Sky acquired for us. The printer should be able to help our community in really fantastic ways. And we also plan on within the business center to help people in regards to getting their businesses off the ground. The small business center that AB Tech manages will probably be one of our very strong partners to be able to help people with how do you start a business? What sort of financial management do you need? How do you advertise? All those sort of things that we will bring in. And then the last piece, as I hinted at earlier, is the kitchen. It'll start out as a basic kitchen that people will be able to use, but potentially be a value-added kitchen where the North Carolina Department of Agriculture would actually put the stamp on the space and your process of canning and preserving, so then you can sell your items.
Because we're on the lease committee together and we've been trying to work out sort of the different tiers of what this would all look like, because not everyone wants an office space, but some people want like some of what we're offering here at the community center.
And there's also the co-working space too, where people can come and sit in a room and,
That's right.
and work with each other, around each other,
so
next to each
talk
other.
to me about, we're trying to sort out, so you can, if you get an office, obviously you get the membership included. But just the membership, that's where you get like a certain number of hours. We have the telehealth booths. I think that's what you were talking about with the small offices.
You'll have access to the telehealth booths. You'll have access to a certain number of printed items a month. You'll also have access to be able to actually use the classroom or conference room if you need it for potentially larger meetings.
The mailbox. Talk to me about the mail, because we've had so many group emails about like, my package was delivered and I don't, because it's rural and these, I don't know, they're left on the side of the tiny roads.
Side of the road. We get our packages on the side. No shade to any of the delivery companies, but there's nowhere else to put it.
There's nowhere else to put it. And I know like our usual UPS guy's out. So we had a new UPS guy for a while. And like maybe, anyways, people are like, how do I send packages? How do I get them delivered? What do I do?
I'm excited about it.
It's going to be great. I know right now it's not an official PO box, but maybe Alice, you can describe like, what is it? we're offering?
It's a mailbox system. So if you want to have, let's say that you have a business in Spring Creek and you don't want your home address to be the business address. You could have all your mail packages, items delivered here. You could ship items out of here. It'll be more secure than knowing that there's a package at the end of your driveway that someone could potentially walk off with or be curious about what's in that box.
Yeah, that's been an idiosyncrasy of living in Spring Creek. Someone texting me be like, I think my dishes were delivered to your driveway. Let me go look. Hold on.
That's right. It's funny stories to have people actually take a picture of a box and say, I cannot read the name or partial address because it's rained on it, but it's been down at the bottom of my driveway for a day now. Whose might this be?
Exactly right.
So you've said before this project is about bringing opportunity to Spring Creek. What does that mean to you?
Well, when I looked at Spring Creek over the years, when tobacco went away and the school closed, it really meant that children were going to have to be on a bus for 2 or 3 hours one way. It meant that how could someone make a living? And so it appeared to me as though people were moving away. They were taking their children and maybe just moving closer to Leicester or to Marshall or staying in the county, but not in Spring Creek. And so we really felt it was important. What can we do to help people stay in Spring Creek and make a living? And it just so happened to coincide when French Broad Electrical Co-op, they actually had gotten a grant to put internet in the entire county, and they were running lines through Spring Creek in 2021, 2022, and that meant that we could educate people online. It meant that they could actually get a job. And
It means that you can do this podcast from Spring Creek
Mm-hmm.
and connect with yourself to the internet.
You wouldn't believe the people in Asheville and other places who say, my internet is really bad. Well, our internet is exceptional.
It really is. I've lived here for a long time, and the satellite internet was just hard to use. Grateful it was there, but this is just so many eras beyond, and it really makes remote work in Spring Creek a viable possibility.
It does. It does. It means now that you can potentially have a job, full-time or part-time, and be in a rented office at the community center or be at home. And so we want to enable people to be able to learn maybe how to be a podcast, creator. Who knows?
I haven't thought, because we do this one. I do other podcasts with my family members, and I'm like, to have a space that's local where I just leave my equipment there and we just show up and we film. And
Perfect.
I've been in there. It's so, like, those big offices, there's so much sunlight and it's beautiful white walls. Like, it's so nice. I'm still trying to find it. Like, I might end up renting one.
And I do want to give a shout out. You brought up the lighting in the offices, because the architect, which is LS3P out of Asheville, we have worked with them since 2021, because that was the first group that we hired, was an architect to put together our thoughts. So worked back and forth with them for months and even years to make sure that we had a plan that was correct. And they worked so hard on making sure that the lighting was right, that we were able to preserve some features from the old from the old school as well. So when people actually come and see it November 1st, it's going to be just phenomenal. I look so forward to talking to people about the little idiosyncrasies of this space that is going to be so valuable. It'll preserve some of the history of the school, but it's also, moving forward with adult workforce education.
Speaking of which, tell us about this event, because I think this might be one of the biggest events we've ever had. We're kind of inviting everyone.
Yes, we are inviting everyone, and all three of us are on the committee, so we're busy. And Anna's actually leading the committee, so we've been taking our pointers from Anna. She's really been keeping us on task. But there's to step back a little bit. the general contractor, who is JAS LLC out of Mars Hill, we've been working with Anthony Willis. He's the owner of the business. And so they're still working right now, and so right up until November 1st, we're going to be scrambling to get the space cleaned up and in order and get equipment in and make it actually look like livable, usable spaces. So November 1st.
11 to 1. Do I have that time right?
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah.
11 to 1.
If you guys are in the area, like definitely come and see this space.
Everyone in the community is invested in making this grand opening a really special event. And it is quite the turnaround. It is going from renovating the space, phase 1, phase 2, phase 3, to a completed interior, which is absolutely phenomenal based on where it was 20, 30 years ago. And it's been decades of dedication and just shared vision by all the people who live here.
Yes, the volunteers have been phenomenal. I mean, Mary Ruth Fowler had that thought process and vision in 1999, and she got it up and running. She got the 501c3 IRS classification. Leighton Davis was a president for many years as well. And, so for, well, I guess 26 years, this project, which it has been a building project, has been everyone's focus. So it is so exciting on November 1st to be able to say, okay, we've worked on this project, but now we're going to be doing programs. We're going to be doing educational programs for adults and for children and for people that need things. Whatever we can provide. The building is pretty much complete. When you think about it, we have Dave's Restaurant, we have the alternative cooperative medicine space, we have Samantha's hair salon, and then we're going to have the additional offices and opportunities for people to really be able to flourish.
I just want to put a shout out to Pickleball, who put 20 hours into putting together furniture. So amazing, so much time and effort. And really, the volunteers and the community members have put this shared vision together over decades. And that's something to really emphasize. It's not a year or 2 year or even 5-year process. It's almost 30-year process of wave after wave of volunteers maintaining focus, maintaining determination, maintaining just the willingness to be involved. And it's been a highly dedicated bunch of people and board, and like so many people before I even came onto the board. Like, I was impressed to start with how much had been accomplished. And so just to say again, Saturday, November 1st is the grand opening of the Spring Creek Center for Shoot.
Alice, you tell us.
You say it. You say it.
Get tongue-tied.
You do it.
The Spring Creek Center for Rural Economic Development.
Yes.
The acronym is SCORED.
Yes, SCORED. So Golden Leaf asked us for a catchy name because they didn't like Phase 3 renovation as the name of our grant. So they said, come up with something catchy. So
it's a little, it's catchier. It's too catchy. That's what.
And so in the party, we're going to have ballad singers. We're going to have gorgeous food from Spring Creek vendors. We're going to have all sorts of things. We're going to have displays, and all the board members are going to be there. And a ribbon cutting, very exciting. So please, if you're listening, make the time to come out and see what we've accomplished with decades of commitment and continuing commitment. There's going to be a lot more things going on, a lot more to catch up with you, Alice, about in 6 months or a year to see what's going on.
Alice, again, thank you for coming on, coordinating schedules and all that kind of stuff. And for those of you listening in or watching, if you liked hearing about our little business center that is going to be a big business center and is coming to life, be sure to tune in next week. We're going to be listening. We mentioned ballad singers, so we're actually going to be chatting with Donna Ray Norton, who is an 8th generation ballad singer and the memory coordinator for the Appalachian Memory Project. And she's going to be talking about her work there, which is very cool.
Fantastic.
And Alice has been on that project. We're all on all the projects, let's be honest. And if you missed last episode, you can click right here. If you're on YouTube, I'm pointing to an overlay to hear all about other incredible projects that we're all working on across Spring Creek. Thank you for being a part of the heartbeat of Western North Carolina, and we'll see you next time.